Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another Tyranid Learning Curve for you, and today we're going to start looking at fast attack. The first choice being the Shrike brood, or winged warriors as I like to call them, because originally the wings used just to be an upgrade on warriors, but now they're a unit in their own right. So let's have a look at these guys. So they're 30 points each base. Stats wise, they're weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 10 and a 5+ save. They come as standard with scything talons and devourers, and they obviously have wings, which mean they count as jump infantry. They're a synapse creature, and of course they know Shadow of the Warp. So, the main difference you see straight away there, basically very similar stats to warriors, but these guys have a 5+ save. Yes, and you can't, buy extended carapaces or anything like that like you used to be able to increase that. You're stuck with a 5+ save. So just like the warriors, you're of course, being toughness 4, you are susceptible to instant death, but not only that, you're susceptible to all small arms fires as well. 5+ save. Now the advantage obviously over warriors is that they are faster moving, so you can you have the option of deep striking these guys in, or you have the option of moving as jump infantry, so you've got your 12-inch movement. So if you have a reasonable amount of terrain on the board, then arguably if you are able to get into a position where you can maybe jump from one piece of terrain to the next to try and get into close combat, then that could be an option. Failing that, obviously you could deep strike him, try and deep strike in a favourable, safer place, ready to pounce the next turn. But either way, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough to do. Now I'm talking about close combat because ultimately these guys are close combat orientated. Now my models are converted from warriors, and I have scything talons and rending claws on mine. I don't have a gun, and that's because they never used to come with a gun. But yes, now they come with the devourer. 18 inches, strength 4, assault 3. It's not bad, but yeah, these guys aren't shooty. These guys are close combat. So they have their scything talons, and then you have a few other options. Now just going back to the gun very quickly, you can change the gun for barb strangler or venom cannons. Only one Shrike may do that, just like the warriors. But seriously, that just isn't really worth it. They're 10 points each, by the way. But yeah, close combat options. So you have scything talons with it, and you can buy an additional set of scything talons for free. Which you're going to do. So you'll buy the scything talons for free. That gives you 2 sets of talons, and then you're able to replace one set of talon with some options. And the reason why you're getting your free scything talons is it means you'll end up with 2 close combat weapons, gives you +1 attack. So these guys are going to have 5 attacks on the charge, which is pretty cool. Now the first option, which is the cheapest one, which is just 5 points, that's rending claws. So yes, you've got rending claws. They're pretty good. Obviously any 6s, very nasty, and they're pretty cheap. It does keep the cost down of these guys, which is quite nice to have them a little bit cheaper. This is the type of unit really you can just arm up how you wish. You could go for straight bone swords, which makes them AP 3, and any 6s are instant death, so that's quite a nasty weapon. Alternatively, you could go for lash whip and bone sword, which gives you +3 initiative with the lash whip, and then of course you've got your bone swords AP 3. Now that's 20 points, so that takes it up to 50 points a model. Now in terms of unit size, you can have between 3 and 9. 3, to be fair, isn't really going to do a great deal. I think you're going to need at least 5 of these guys. I would say 5 or more. And if you're going to go for bone swords at 50 points a model, that's a big investment of points. Now you do have the option to take adrenal glands, toxin sacs and flesh hooks. All sounds very good. You know, flesh hook sounds great. You can fight normal initiative if you go through terrain. That's 4 points a model. That's really going to push the points up on these guys. And as usual with Tyranids, I think majority of the time it's best to keep them basic. It's best to keep them cheap. Personally, I run with the rending claws, and that's mainly because I've got my models with rending claws. I don't use them that often, but I do get them out. They're quite nice to have as a synapse creature. I tend to flank them down the sides, try to keep them out of trouble, try to keep them behind terrain, flank them down the sides, a little bit of added synapse. And if you can get them into close combat, they're actually pretty good. You know, I've had good success with them once I make it into combat, but it's getting into combat which you need to work around. And as I said, it's either going to be from deep striking. Yes, you've got to wait one turn, but if you can get them into a decent area, that could be an option. And the other option really is just a terrain hop from, you know, one piece of terrain to the other until you make it into range. As soon as your opponent has a good shot at these guys, knowing how fast they are with the wings, they are going to be shot at. You know, there's no doubt about it, and they are going to go down pretty easy. Even with 3 wounds, you've had 5 of these, it's 15 wounds. It's that 5+ save that is the killer, along with obviously toughness 4. So yeah, not the greatest unit in the world, a lot of fun, an enjoyable model to play, but not the most competitive unit in the fast attacks slot. That's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As usual, thanks for watching.